The city of Los Angeles sparkled with December lights, the streets buzzing with music and laughter as families prepared to welcome the new year. In South LA, inside a modest but beautiful family home, Denise Parker adjusted the collar of her red dress in front of the mirror. The family's annual end-of-the-year party had always been one of her favorite traditions. It was a time of laughter, food, and dancing, where cousins reconnected and elders shared stories of resilience. Denise had been married to David for 8 years. Together, they had 2 children, Amira, who was 6, and Jordan, who was 3. They had their ups and downs like any couple, but Denise believed that family gatherings were moments when all differences were put aside. This year, she was determined for everything to be perfect. Her older sister, Monica, had called earlier. "Girl, you ready? I know Mama been talking about your dress since Thanksgiving. She said you gone outshine everybody this year." Denise laughed lightly, trying to brush off the nervousness that had been eating her for weeks. Things between her and David had been tense. He had been staying out late, his phone always on silent, and his excuses piling up. She told herself it was just work, just the stress of providing for the family. Still, she whispered under her breath as she applied her lipstick, "Please God, let tonight be peaceful." The Parker household filled quickly with relatives. The scent of baked macaroni, fried chicken, and collard greens floated through the air. Soul music blasted from the speakers, and children ran around with sparklers in the backyard. Denise moved through the living room, greeting uncles, hugging cousins, and serving plates. Her mother, Miss Gloria, kept watch over everything like the matriarch she was, ensuring that nobody left without a full stomach. "Denise, baby, this party is beautiful," Gloria said proudly, kissing her daughter's cheek. "You done outdid yourself." Denise smiled, glancing toward the door. "David should be here any minute." Her mother raised an eyebrow. Hum. He better not show up late like last year. A man got responsibilities to his family." Denise chuckled nervously. "He'll be here, Mama." 10 minutes later, the front door opened. Everyone turned their heads. David walked in wearing a fresh suit, looking sharp as ever. But his hand wasn't empty. It was intertwined with another woman's. A tall, slim woman with long straight hair and a glittering gold dress that clung to her body. The room went silent. Conversations froze. Only the music kept playing. Denise's heart stopped. "Evening, everybody," David said, his voice loud and casual, as though nothing was wrong. "This here's Tasha. She's a good friend of mine." Nobody moved. The silence in the room was heavier than thunderclouds. Denise's sister Monica was the first to react. She dropped her glass of wine onto the carpet, eyes wide with disbelief. "David, what the hell is this?" David ignored her, leading Tasha further into the living room. The woman smiled, waving politely. "Hi, everyone. Happy holidays." Denise stood frozen near the dining table, her hands trembling against the plate she held. She couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. She had been expecting David to walk in with a smile, maybe a bouquet of flowers, but not this. Not another woman. Her mother's face darkened. "David Parker, what you think you doing, bringing some woman into my house when your wife's standing right there?" David shrugged, still holding Tasha's hand. "Mama G, don't get all worked up. Denise knows me. She knows how I roll. I just wanted to introduce y'all to somebody important to me." Denise finally found her voice, though it cracked. "Important to you?" She put the plate down slowly. "David, this is our family party. Our family. And you walk in here with her." Gasps filled the room. A cousin in the corner whispered, "This man bold." Denise's chest burned with humiliation as the room filled with murmurs. Her cousins exchanged glances, her uncle shifted uncomfortably, and the younger kids were ushered to the backyard to avoid the tension. "David, you better explain yourself right now," Monica snapped, stepping forward. You got some nerve disrespecting my sister like this. David raised his chin, his tone defensive. Y'all acting brand new. Don't nobody own nobody. Denise my wife, yeah, but Tasha here, she been good to me in ways y'all don't even know. I ain't gonna hide her no more. Hide her? Denise's voice broke, her eyes welling up with tears. So all those nights you said you was working late, you were with her? David didn't answer. His silence was the answer. Tasha, still holding his hand, finally spoke. Look, I didn't come here to cause drama. I came because David asked me to. I respect what y'all got as a family, but me and him, we got our own bond. The audacity cut Denise like a knife. She stepped closer, her eyes blazing. Respect. You walk into my family's house, stand in my living room, hold my husband's hand, and talk about respect. The room erupted. Cousins shouted. Monica cursed under her breath. Gloria banged her cane on the floor to quiet everyone. Enough. Gloria's voice thundered. David, you shameful. Denise, baby, don't shed one more tear for this foolishness. Denise felt the room closing in on her. Her hands shook as her tears slipped freely. She could hear the whispers, the gasps, the disgusted faces of her family members. Her daughter Amira peeked in from the backyard, confused. Mommy, why's Daddy holding another lady's hand? That was the breaking point. Denise rushed forward, scooping her daughter into her arms and pulling Jordan close too. Don't worry, baby. Mommy got you. Mommy always got you. She turned to David, her voice trembling but strong. You think you embarrassed me tonight, David? Nah. You embarrassed yourself. You embarrassed your kids. And you disrespected the people who stood by you. David tried to speak, but Denise raised her hand. Don't. Just don't. She turned to her mother and whispered, Mama, I need some air. With her children in her arms, she walked out of the living room, leaving the chaos behind her. The night that was supposed to be filled with joy had turned into a nightmare, a public betrayal, a wound carved deep into her soul. But Denise didn't know that this was only the beginning. As the front door closed behind Denise, silence hung in the living room like smoke after a fire. The family looked at David, their eyes burning with anger and disbelief. Monica folded her arms tightly. You done lost your mind, David. Bringing another woman to a family party? To your wife's party. David's jaw clenched. Monica, you don't know the half of it. Denise ain't perfect either. Y'all always painting me as the villain. Villain? Monica shot back, her voice sharp as glass. You paraded your mistress in front of your wife and kids. That ain't just villain behavior, that's evil. Tasha shifted uncomfortably, whispering, Maybe we should go, David. But David stood his ground, puffing out his chest. I'm tired of hiding. If Denise can't accept the truth, that's on her. I love my kids, but I won't apologize for how I feel. Miss Gloria shook her head slowly, her voice heavy with disappointment. Boy, love without respect ain't love at all. You brought shame into my house tonight. Denise stood in the driveway, her children clinging to her. She felt the cold night air on her skin, but inside she was burning. Amira whispered, Mommy, why was Daddy with that lady? Denise crouched down, tears streaming down her face. Baby, sometimes grown-ups make bad choices. But listen to me, Daddy's choices are not your fault. You hear me? Not your fault. Jordan, too young to understand, simply clung to her dress. Denise pulled them both into a tight hug, rocking back and forth. She could hear the muffled shouting from inside the house, but she didn't want her kids exposed to any more pain tonight. Her cousin Renee came outside, her face soft with sympathy. Cuz, you need me to take the kids for the night? You look like you about to fall apart. Denise shook her head. No, I want them with me. They need to know their mama ain't going nowhere. Inside, Monica was still going toe-to-toe with David. You think you a man, 'cause you got 2 women on your arm? A real man don't need to humiliate his wife to prove nothing. David snapped. Monica, stay out my marriage. Monica stepped closer, her finger in his face. You dragged your marriage into our family business the second you brought that girl up in here. If you didn't want people to talk, you should have kept your mess behind closed doors. Tasha's eyes darted nervously as more relatives whispered. Some shook their heads, others rolled their eyes, but nobody stood with David. He was alone, even with Tasha clinging to him. Finally, Gloria raised her hand again. Enough. David, you and that woman leave my house right now. Ain't no space here for that kind of disrespect. David hesitated, his pride battling with his shame. But when Gloria's stern eyes met his, he knew he had no power here. He tugged at Tasha's hand. Come on, we out. As they walked toward the door, cousins muttered under their breath. Can't believe he did Denise like that. He willed in. Man ain't got no respect. When David opened the door, Denise was still standing outside with the kids. Their eyes met for just a second. Denise's face was wet with tears, but her gaze was steady. Go on with her, she whispered coldly. You made your choice. David swallowed hard, but he didn't answer. He walked past her, Tasha trailing behind. When the house finally calmed down, Denise sat in her mother's bedroom with Amira and Jordan asleep beside her. Gloria sat next to her, gently rubbing her back. Baby girl, Gloria said softly, I know tonight broke you, but let me tell you something. Your worth ain't tied to no man. David chose his path, but you still standing. And your babies need you strong. Denise buried her face in her mother's lap, sobbing. Mama, how do I even look at myself after this? He humiliated me in front of everybody. He made me feel like I'm nothing. Gloria lifted her chin gently. You are not nothing. You hear me. You are my daughter. You are their mother. And you are still Denise Parker. Don't you let that man's weakness define you. Denise lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling. Every detail replayed in her mind. David's hand in Tasha's, the smug smile on that woman's face, the whispers of her family. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. A text from David. We need to talk. I didn't mean for it to go like that. Denise stared at the message for a long time, her chest tightening. Then she typed back, No, you meant it. You wanted me to hurt. She put the phone face down and turned to her children, sleeping peacefully beside her. She whispered to herself, They're my reason. They're my strength. By the next morning, word had spread. Relatives called, friends texted, church members whispered. In South LA, news traveled fast, especially when it was messy. Renee called Denise. Girl, everybody talking about last night. Folks can't believe he did that. You want me to shut some mouths. Denise sighed. Let them talk. I can't control what people say. I can't believe he threw away 8 years like that. Later, Monica stopped by with groceries. Sis, you know I got you. If you need to pack his stuff, I'll help. If you need to slash his tires, I'll help too. Denise managed a small laugh. No, Moni. I don't want revenge. I just want peace. That evening, David called. Denise almost ignored it, but curiosity won. Denise, listen, he started quickly. I messed up. I know I embarrassed you, but I just wanted to be real about what's going on. Her voice was steady but cold. Real? Bringing your mistress into my mama's house? That's your idea of being real. She ain't just some mistress, David argued. I care about her. But I care about you too. I'm caught in the middle. Denise laughed bitterly. There ain't no middle, David. You made your choice when you walked through that door holding her hand. After the call, Denise sat in silence, her body trembling. She finally admitted to herself what she had been avoiding for months. The marriage was broken. Her children deserved stability, not chaos. She deserved respect, not betrayal. When Monica came over later, Denise whispered, I can't keep doing this. I think I'm done. Monica hugged her tightly. Then be done, sis. We'll stand with you. Mama, me, the whole family. We got you. Denise cried into her sister's arms, but this time the tears felt different. They weren't just from pain. They were from release. On Sunday morning, Denise dressed herself in a simple white blouse and jeans. She tied her hair back, looked in the mirror, and whispered, I am enough. She took her kids to church, holding their hands proudly. People stared, some whispered, but she didn't flinch. After service, the pastor's wife approached her gently. Denise, I heard about what happened. Just know, this too shall pass. God never wastes pain. Denise nodded, her heart heavy but her spirit rising. For the first time since the party, she felt a spark of strength returning. She wasn't healed. She wasn't over it. But she had made a decision. She would not let David's betrayal define her future. And as the choir sang, she whispered under her breath, This is the start of my new story. 2 days after church, Denise was at home folding laundry when she heard a knock on the door. She opened it and froze. David stood there, flowers in one hand and guilt all over his face. Denise, please, just hear me out, he begged. She crossed her arms. You shouldn't be here. I know I messed up, David said quickly. I was wrong. I thought I could balance things, but I can't. Tasha ain't worth losing my family over. Please let me fix this. Denise let out a bitter laugh. You thought you could balance things? Like we some kind of schedule. I'm your wife, David. Not a second option. Behind her, little Amira peeked out. Daddy! David's face softened as he bent down. Hey, baby girl. Denise's chest ached. She couldn't deny he was a good father when he tried, but a terrible husband. Say your hellos, Denise said firmly. But you not staying here tonight. Later that evening, Denise sat with her mother, Gloria, sipping tea. She told her everything, how David showed up, what he said, how confused she felt. Gloria nodded slowly. Baby, a man can regret, but regret don't always mean change. You gotta look at his actions, not just his words. Denise frowned. But Mama, the kids still need their daddy. I don't want to take that away from them. Her mother touched her hand. Let him be a daddy, but you don't have to keep being his doormat. Protect your peace first. Children learn love from how we love ourselves. Those words hit Denise deep. For the first time, she thought about what kind of example she wanted to set for Amira and Jordan. The following weekend, Denise attended her cousin Renee's baby shower. Family was everywhere, laughter, music, and endless plates of food. But whispers followed her like shadows. Girl, you heard what David did, one aunt whispered. Shameful. But I bet Denise gonna take him back. Most women do, another replied. Denise overheard and clenched her fists, but she kept walking. Her Uncle Charles approached her later, voice low. Denise, don't let nobody pressure you into making choices for show. Do what's right for you. Folks always gon' talk, no matter what. But later that night, she found out not everyone felt the same. Monica told her, some cousins saying you should forgive him. They think you being too cold. Denise shook her head. Cold. He humiliated me in front of all of them. If I forgive too easy, what lesson am I teaching him? One evening, Denise agreed to meet David at a cafe. He looked exhausted, his eyes red like he hadn't slept. "Denise," he started softly, "I cut things off with Tasha. She ain't in the picture no more." Denise raised an eyebrow. "And I'm supposed to clap for you? You want a medal for finally choosing what you should have chosen all along." David sighed. "I don't expect you to forgive me overnight, but I'm asking for a chance. I don't want to lose my family." Denise stared at him for a long time. "You already lost me, David. The only question is how we co-parent moving forward." David dropped his head into his hands. "Don't say that. Please don't say that." But deep down, Denise meant it. That night, Denise tucked Amira and Jordan into bed. Amira looked up with wide eyes. "Mommy, is Daddy still mad at you?" Denise forced a smile. "Daddy and Mommy are working things out, baby. But listen, no matter what happens, we both love you and Jordan." Amira whispered, "I want us all to be happy again." Denise kissed her forehead, her heart breaking. "Me too, baby. Me too." She left their room in tears, realizing that even if she found peace, her children would still carry the scars of David's betrayal. Monica came over the next morning with breakfast. "Sis, you been too quiet. How you holding up?" Denise shrugged. "I don't know. Some days I feel strong. Other days I feel like falling apart." Monica hugged her. "That's normal. But listen, you stronger than you think. Don't let his begging make you forget the pain he caused." Denise nodded, tears streaming down. "Thank you, Moni. I don't know what I'd do without you. Girl, you'd still stand. But I'm here anyway." They laughed through their tears, their bond stronger than ever. David refused to give up. He started sending gifts, flowers at her job, toys for the kids, even groceries delivered to her doorstep. Denise called him one day. "Stop trying to buy your way back. That don't erase what you did." "I'm not buying my way back," David insisted. "I'm showing I care." Denise shook her head. "If you cared, you wouldn't have embarrassed me in the first place. Actions now don't erase actions then." But despite her words, a part of her wrestled with the memories of the man she once loved. At church the following Sunday, Denise sat with her children. After service, women from the congregation approached her. "Baby, you're not alone," Sister Janet said, squeezing her hand. "We saw what happened. We praying for you." Another added, "You got a whole village behind you. Don't let shame keep you quiet." Denise smiled weakly. For the first time, she realized her struggle wasn't just hers. Others had walked this path too. And that gave her strength. One evening, Denise found an envelope slipped under her door. It was from David. She sat at the kitchen table staring at it, her hands trembling. Part of her wanted to tear it open, to read his apology, his promises. Another part of her wanted to throw it straight in the trash. She whispered to herself, "If I open this, am I giving him power again?" Finally, she slid the envelope into a drawer. Not tonight. The new year arrived. Fireworks lit up Los Angeles skies, families gathered, and music filled the streets. Denise sat on her porch with her children snuggled beside her. She looked at their faces glowing in the firework light and whispered, "This year, Mommy's choosing herself." For the first time in weeks, she smiled, not because everything was fixed, but because she finally felt free. She didn't know what tomorrow would bring with David, but one thing was clear. Denise Parker was no longer defined by her husband's betrayal. She was defined by her strength. January brought unexpected blessings. Denise's supervisor at the community center called her into the office. "Denise, you've been doing amazing work. A new position just opened up, program coordinator. More hours, better pay. I think you should apply." Denise blinked in surprise. "Me? You really think I can handle it? Her boss smiled. Not only can you handle it, you deserve it. You've been holding this place together. Denise walked out of that office with a spark in her chest. For the first time, she saw a future not tied to David's paycheck or his decisions. Meanwhile, David sat alone in his apartment. Tasha had grown tired of the drama and left weeks earlier. He scrolled through old photos of his family, the guilt gnawing at him. When his friend Marcus stopped by, David confessed, "Man, I messed up bad. I thought I could have both. Now I don't got neither." Marcus shook his head. "You thought you was big man bringing that woman to a family party? That ain't bold, that's stupid. Denise ain't coming back easy. If she come back at all." David rubbed his face, realizing the truth. He had gambled and lost. Denise threw herself into her new role. She organized after-school programs, mentored teenagers, and spoke at local events. People began to admire her strength and resilience. One afternoon, a coworker told her, "Denise, you inspire me. You've been through hell, but you still shining." Denise smiled softly. "I just take it one day at a time. That's all any of us can do." In quiet moments, she still felt the ache of betrayal. But each day she stood taller, proving to herself that she could build a life beyond heartbreak. David begged to see the kids more often. Denise agreed, but with conditions. "You can pick them up on weekends, but I don't want drama. If you show up with another woman, don't bother knocking." David nodded quickly. "Nah, it's just me. I promise." When he came to pick up Amira and Jordan, he knelt down, hugging them tightly. Denise watched from the doorway, her heart torn. He was still their father, still a part of their world. But as she closed the door, she whispered, "Being a father doesn't make you my husband anymore." At a spring family reunion, Denise showed up with her kids, looking radiant. She wore a flowing blue dress and carried herself with confidence. Cousins rushed to greet her. "Girl, you glowing. Single life treating you good." She laughed, shaking her head. "I'm not glowing 'cause I'm single. I'm glowing 'cause I'm free." For the first time since the party disaster, Denise felt truly celebrated, not as David's wife, but as Denise Parker, the woman who had survived and thrived. One evening, David asked Denise if they could talk privately. She reluctantly agreed, meeting him at a park. "Denise," he said quietly, "I see you now. You stronger than I ever gave you credit for. I thought I'd break you, but you just got brighter. I messed up the best thing I ever had." Denise looked at him, her eyes steady. "You didn't break me, David. You broke us. And that's something you can't put back together with apologies." He swallowed hard, tears glistening. "So that's it. We done." Denise nodded. "We been done. Now I'm just living the truth." Denise leaned heavily on Monica and her close friends. They had girls' nights, laughed over wine, and reminded her that life could still be joyful. Monica teased, "You know, sis, you got men eyeing you left and right. Don't act like you don't notice." Denise rolled her eyes with a smile. "Not interested, Moni. Right now, my heart belongs to me and these kids." Her friends clinked glasses. "To Denise, the strongest woman we know." For once, she believed them. As Denise flourished, David struggled. His work performance slipped, his apartment felt emptier, and guilt consumed him. When he ran into an old friend, they asked, "Man, how's Denise and the kids?" David lowered his head. "They better without me. That's the truth." He realized too late that pride had cost him everything: his family, his wife's respect, his place in the Parker household. By summer, Denise officially accepted her new title at work. At the celebration, her boss handed her a plaque. "Denise Parker, Community Leader of the Year." The crowd cheered, and Denise's children clapped the loudest. She held the plaque high, tears in her eyes. This isn't just for me. This is for every woman who ever thought she couldn't stand after being broken. We can stand. We can rise. The applause roared, echoing into her heart. Months after she first hid it away, Denise finally opened David's letter. His words spilled out with regret, apologies, and longing for forgiveness. But instead of reopening wounds, the letter brought her peace. She folded it gently and whispered, "I forgive you, but I don't need you." That night, she slept soundly for the first time in years. One evening, Amira asked, "Mommy, will you and Daddy ever be married again?" Denise knelt beside her. "No, baby. Mommy and Daddy are on different paths now. But you know what? That doesn't change how much we love you." Amira nodded slowly, accepting the answer. Denise hugged her tightly, grateful that her children were resilient even through heartbreak. Unexpectedly, Denise ran into Tasha at a grocery store. The woman froze, guilt written all over her face. "Denise, I never meant to hurt you," Tasha stammered. Denise straightened her shoulders. "You did hurt me, but I don't carry hate for you. I let that go. What y'all had, it's over. And so is my marriage. I'm moving on." Tasha nodded, almost relieved. "You stronger than me. I wish you the best." Denise walked away, her heart light. She had faced the woman who once symbolized her deepest pain and felt no fear. David showed up one last time at Denise's door, not with flowers, but with humility. "Denise, I'm not here to win you back. I just came to say thank you for being the mother of my kids, for being the best part of my life, even if I didn't realize it then." Denise nodded softly. "Thank you for saying that. We'll always share the kids, David. But that's where it ends." They shook hands like old friends, a quiet understanding between them. On New Year's Eve, exactly 1 year after the disastrous party, Denise hosted a new gathering at her home. Friends, family, laughter, music, it all filled the air. Monica raised a toast. To Denise, the woman who turned pain into power. The room cheered. Denise smiled, surrounded by love, her children dancing beside her. This time, there was no shadow of betrayal, only light. As the clock struck midnight, fireworks painted the Los Angeles sky. Denise stood on the porch, holding her children's hands. "Mommy," Jordan whispered, "are we happy now?" Denise smiled through tears. "Yes, baby. We're happy. Because we're free. And because we're together." The fireworks roared, and Denise whispered to herself, "This is my new beginning." The end-of-the-year party that once shattered her life had now become the start of a new chapter, a chapter written on her own terms, with strength, dignity, and hope.